Okay, welcome back. Let's actually try to be productive today. um, yeah, I'm just thinking now about that guy that I talked about on the Reddit feedback thing. And yeah, I really like this game. I hope I hope that comes through. And I liked Mario Sunshine. Let's buy seeds. Yeah, I guess my tone is like, well, maybe you think I'm just kind of like bored with this, but I'm really enjoying it. I hope you can see that. Yeah, I guess I would like to be a little bit more energetic, or okay, let's buy a ton of these. How do I? Oh, have to sell something. Oops. Oh my god, what are you doing? What have you done? You bought too much. Okay. What was I talking about? This game is fun. Okay, so today I did want to kind of give an update on the therapy thing, just because I talked about it before. I mentioned that I was stressed about it. So I went back on Thursday. That was yesterday. And it went okay. I was able to tell him, like, I was worried that that he doesn't know how bad I am at talking. And he was like, I get it. He said it in a way that was good. Like, I understand. Like, you're not the kind of guy who walks into work and is like, hey Joe, how you doing? You know, how's your weekend? So I think he does understand. That's good. And so we did kind of ease up a little bit on the networking stuff. And I did say something, I thought it was interesting, but he didn't really follow through on it. I mentioned how we were talking about doing interviews, and like how I thought that would be I thought I would be nervous doing interviews. Like, it's going to be really hard for me to do an interview if I'm looking for a new job. But I said, well, interviewing I think I might be able to do that. The networking thing is definitely a lot more stressful to me. I thought that was interesting, but he didn't really. You would think the networking thing would be less stressful, right? Because there's not as much at stake. But to me, it's more stressful because it's like more informal. And I just got super self-conscious about being boring. Because, I don't know, people are watching now, I think, maybe. I mean, this is what the channel is. It's just me being boring, so sorry. It's not about being boring, it's about being relatable. I think that's the main thing I have to, like, come back to, is like, just be relatable, just be honest. Do I think I was being super interesting before when people subscribed? No, I don't. So they subscribed, and Okay, I got sidetracked. Networking. I thought networking would be harder because it's more informal. I also mentioned to him, he kind of pushed back on a little bit on this with me. Like, oh, it's only 2:30. Do I really want to go to sleep? Yeah. Ow, where do I get the hammer? I told him I was nervous about interviewing because I feel like I don't know anything about accounting, even though I have a degree and I went to a bunch of classes. And he was like, no, come on, you have a degree. You know a little bit about accounting. You must. And I was like, I really don't think I know anything about accounting. And I don't really know if accounting is super interesting to me. I mean, I like doing accounting stuff because I like record keeping and I like bookkeeping and I like doing math. But so much of accounting is like, it's about keeping up with the rules and like the laws, and that stuff is not interesting to me. And I'm worried that like you go to these networking things and that's what they're going to be talking about, or you go to an interview and they're going to be like, well, did you see what happened in the new accounting news about the SEC or whatever? And I'm like, no. I don't follow any of that stuff. I know what an accounts receivable is. That's the extent of my accounting knowledge. It's like when you go to school, you're supposed to like talk to the other kids there, and that's how you kind of learn. And like you go into study groups and you talk about accounting stuff, but I never did any of that. I was so good at avoiding that kind of stuff. I'm sure people who are watching this might think, like, how did you go to college if your social anxiety was so bad? And how did you go to all the classes and everything? And how did you do group projects? And I did have to do a little bit of that, and it was stressful. But I just 20 years of going to school with social anxiety, you get really good at avoiding that stuff. And I went to a big school with big classes. So the first 2 years I went to the school was mostly lectures. Did I talk to everybody yet? Close. I wonder who I missed. I kind of wanted to buy some stuff here. Is she the guy? Yeah, I've talked about it a little bit before, just like how I avoided all that stuff. Going to a big school, so the first 2 years, mostly lectures. You don't really have to do anything with other people. Just go, do the homework, and you'll pass. If you go to every lecture, you do the homework, you study, whatever, you're going to pass. Then I went to the business school at Rutgers. And so then that was the second 2 years. And then that's where it gets a little bit like the class is getting smaller. And I remember being like, okay, what do I do? Like, maybe there's a way I can just take lectures somehow. But there wasn't really. The classes started getting smaller. And I had a couple classes I really had to go to and I really dreaded going to. I don't know if I want to talk about this again, but yeah. I it was really nice to go to a big school, because the most important thing was the professors. They all had their different styles. Some professors liked calling on people and liked class participation. And so I found ways to avoid those classes. I mean, the major thing was just you're allowed to go to a class and then drop it. So I would go to classes and I would kind of get a sense of the teacher. Like, is this teacher going to call on people a lot? Is this teacher... I would look through the syllabus and be like, is this a class where there's a lot of participation? Do I have to give a project? And if there was, I would... The next day, I would go to a different class, or I would go to the same... Because you have to take certain classes to graduate, so to get your major. But I would just look for a different professor of the same class, and I would always seem to get lucky and find a professor who didn't really pick on people. There was 1 or 2 times where I got a bad class where... But the good thing is, like, it's only 2 days a week, and it's like only an hour. So just like get through that class and then you'll be okay. And then those were classes where I did kind of struggle a little bit, because sometimes I just I wouldn't go. But I did do my best to go every time. I only missed like 1 or 2 classes per semester because I was like, oh, I just can't go today. Did I water the crops today? It really is amazing how short classes are. The semester's only like 2 or 3 months. Since I graduated, it's like, God, 2 months go by so quick. Oh. I got a star. That's nice. Okay, I should really end there. Yeah, I guess if you are watching and you're stressed about school, I can give you some advice. It's hard for me, because it's like, well, do you really want to give advice like that? Because is that you giving into your anxiety? Like, maybe shouldn't you do other things to try to conquer the anxiety? Because that definitely didn't help me conquer the anxiety, but also at the same time, it's like maybe I wouldn't have gone to school if I couldn't figure out ways to go. You know what I mean? I don't know what the right thing is. Yeah, it's probably not good advice. But I don't know. Getting over your anxiety takes a long time. Maybe I could just give you like little tips to get through it. You know, day-to-day stuff, and then you can... Yeah. Okay. Yeah, alright. See you tomorrow.